Well, hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to Comics and Varieties CNV Midday. Hope you were doing well this Monday, everybody's favorite day, Monday. Sorry I wasn't here Friday. I was going to do a show, but work did not permit, and got to pay the bills, and so work takes precedence. At any rate, I will also have a CNV Midday tomorrow instead of Wednesday. On Wednesday, I will be hosting Indie Comic Stream in the evening with John Hervey. We will also have Luke Stone, who will be drawing one of the trading cards that are one of the possible stretch goals in for Tilt Part 2. And Tilt Part 2 is now $9 away from 1,800, 44% funded. I got about 10 days left in the first half of the campaign. Still lots of great stuff available beyond just the basic tiers, like buying 2 covers or just one physical copy, including the original art, and being drawn into issue 3. So, alrighty. Yeah. Excuse me. There is a link to the Tilt Part 2 in the description below. Okay, let's move on to what I really want to talk about today, which is Marvel's X. Give me just a second here. All right, Marvel's X, the final part 6, came out just recently, and if you haven't followed this at all, it hasn't been bad. The story is actually pretty good. A virus has spread throughout humanity, turning everyone into superheroes or supervillains, giving them superpowers. And there seems to be this one boy, David, who has not been infected by the virus. And he manages to make his way to New York City to find real superheroes. He is initially obsessed with superheroes and still is at the end. But he makes his way to New York City, and finally the superheroes find him, and Reed Richards decides he's going to run tests on David to see what it is about David that does not, that the virus has not infected him or is not given him superpowers. And they spend much of issue 5 doing that. In issue 6, they've just about given up because they can't figure out what makes him different. And basically issue 6 is where a whole bunch of the supervillains now invade the Baxter building, and a fight ensues. And one of my biggest problems I've had with this this run is the art. There's a lot of instances where, like, for example, take a look at this stretch here, the arm from Reed Richards, how just not just flat it is. I mean, it's stretching out, so it's going to be somewhat flat, but it's completely two-dimensional. And I really don't like, most art, or the fingers like right behind here of this, whatever this creature is. I mean, look how two-dimensional those are, very square, and it doesn't look like they're round fingers. And look, I mean, you're drawing small figures. Yeah, you're going to draw some things that are kind of square and two-dimensional, but the problem is it's all over in this this series. My 2 big things about comic book art is, one, the images do need to look like they're moving, since you've got since the images here don't move. It's not like a movie screen, right, or a TV screen. The second is that the images need to be 3-dimensional, because you're on a 2-dimensional plane. So at any rate, that's been my biggest problem here. Now, so far, I have liked the story, though. A virus that infects humanity, giving everyone superpowers, and there's one human being that doesn't seem to be infected, and hence the possible cure for humanity lies in him, and will he survive? That is actually an interesting story. But, yes. Okay. So in the story here, during the fight, David sees sees Captain America's shield, and picks it up to run it over to Captain America. And it's here that whatever this scorpion creature is, smacks David in the back and through the abdomen. And shortly thereafter, David does die. Now, here's kind of the first hint that things are going to go a little bit sideways here, is that the virus initially wasn't supposed to have any effect on people who already had superpowers, but apparently it had an impact on David Banner, or Bruce Banner, and the Hulk, because the Hulk turns into this, David Banner turns into this big green ape. Yeah. Don't really know what that's supposed to symbolize, that we're evolving back into supposedly the apes, that humans are evolving back into the apes that humans initially evolved from, if you believe in evolution, which I do. Some people don't, whatever. Yeah, a little on the weird side there, but so yeah, I don't really know what to say about that. It's a little odd, but that's not the worst of it. The worst of it is, well, they have kind of a, they bury David Jarrett, and they're all mourning. They put his glasses on his, it's all kind of solemn and a little moving, not bad. And then this character, his name is Kyle. What is he? Nighthawk, I believe. Believe it's Nighthawk. It's something Hawk. I'm sorry. I believe it's Nighthawk. Has some vision, goes to David's grave, digs it up, and finds that David is alive. And he says, "I didn't die. You did, and you came back. You just needed someone to come and help you dig yourself out. I can see better now. My eyes are fine. What happened? The reality is that you can't die, at least not for long. Regenerating or something like it it's your superpower. How could any of us have known until after you died and came back? So I do have a superpower." And it seems kind of like a fitting end for David. I mean, he's been obsessed with superheroes. He wanted to have a superpower, and now he's got one. Except, what do they do with David? Do they turn him into a hero? Does he dress up and go out and fight crime and, something like that? No, they turn him into a circus act. Okay, he's basically dresses up as some kind of daredevil character here. He drives out and hurts himself. The next page, which I didn't scan, actually, he's encouraging some audience member to shoot him in the head because he can't die. So that's what they've turned him into. They've turned him into a circus act. What kind of ending is that? I mean, one, it's a real downer. I mean, you're becoming a circus act, after you've without any observable superpower, you worked your way to New York to find superheroes. You bravely tried to, help Captain America. You were killed. And at the end, you're turned into a circus act, maybe even a circus. I don't know. You want to call it a circus freak, call it whatever you want. It's really a downer. And I kind of, this goes back to this whole, I think it goes back to this whole deconstructing superheroes thing that, Alan Moore did most famously in The Watchmen, but has been done ever since, is that, superheroes can't be heroic anymore. I mean, the heroic thing would be to turn David into an actual superhero out fighting for justice. No, they decide to deconstruct him and turn him into something kind of silly, and turn him into a circus act. Now, on the last page, Ghost Rider is in the audience, dressed as he's in his Johnny Blaze form, and he kind of says that maybe someday we'll defeat death because of David, and it seems noble, but it comes off as just kind of hollow, because here's David as a circus freak, as a circus act, and it's really disappointing. I mean, it's a really disappointing end to what was otherwise a good story. Not good art, but a good story. So I have to say I'm really disappointed in the ending here, and Marvel's ending of Marvel X, but I'm not terribly surprised. This is a way to deconstruct heroes, to make them less than noble, turn them into a circus act. And that's what you get these days. So sorry about that. It was too bad because it was an enjoyable story, but you know, who knows? Maybe a bad ending to the story is what a comic with otherwise kind of bad art deserves. So, all righty. That's pretty much all for today. Yeah, Guy, I don't think that's how evolution works either. That's a bad comic book. Oh, well, some people like that art style. I don't. I don't think. I thought the story was better than the art, but you know, that's. Hey, you know, people are going to disagree, and that's fine. So, alrighty. Let me just very quickly once again remind you that that Tilt 2 is still funding. We've still got a long way to go, 10 days before the midway point, and $9 from 1,800 or 45% funded. So, okay, thanks everyone who showed up today, and yeah, I will be back tomorrow. Until then, have a very good Monday.